you've obviously just completed your UEFA B licence at the age of 20. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Just tell us how that kind of came about.
Well, it's something that when I started coaching with the academy, it's something that was kind of, I always saw as on the horizon. But I think the club kind of needed to see I was ready for it. Do you know what I mean? I think after 6 months I got on a course. I was quite lucky getting on it. So it's just like the third level of qualification. So in your scholarship you get the second one. So it's just like the next step up from that. And I think in my head it's also just a bit of a switching, like, you know, this is getting a bit more serious now rather than like a casual thing, basically.
So do you see your future in coaching? Is that kind of
yeah, to be honest, I really do. And it's like, I did think I might struggle to have a like passionate career outside of playing, but if I'm being honest with you, like I really do. I think it suits me down to the ground, and it's something I'd love to do more in. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you did your first 2 levels within the scholarship.
Yeah.
You got the bug for it, I guess.
To be honest, not really. I think because it's almost you just get it anyway, so you don't see it as an achievement. It's just you have to pass it, and you don't really do much coaching. It's kind of just ticking the box. The thing that really started off for me was just coming down and giving it a go. Like, and again, when I started, it wasn't something I really was considering. It was just kind of, you know, I need to make some money. I'm not full time anymore. What can I do? And I just fell in love with it.
So you said that you kind of went into the coaching not being full time anymore. Is that part of the exit strategy with the academy?
Yeah. Well, it was for me. Like I've had a really good experience with the club. Like, so I was released, and then upon being released, they kind of mentioned that there might be an opportunity to come and coach. And at first, I was a little bit like hesitant because I was kind of a bit like, I want to get away from football. But no, that was something that kind of, it was almost part of my development and transition from a player to a coach under the club Doncaster barrier.
And you're working with the foundation age groups. So
Yeah.
I think you said under 12s and under 11s.
Yeah,
What's that been like?
Well, the first group I had was so I had the under 12s now for 2 years, and yeah, I don't know if it was them or, you know, it could have been anyone, but yeah, I fell in love with it, probably coaching them, because they're a really strong group, but also, like, you know, I didn't realise, I thought coaching was all about tactics, and, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And at first I was a bit like, I wanted to do the older ones, but now I actually really love like teaching them the aspects and getting to know them, and that's probably my favourite bits of it, really.
And there's a lot of emphasis, and I know it's called like fundamentals, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That kind of enjoyment of
Yeah.
making sure that the kids are really
Because obviously, like, my most recent memories were from the professional development phase, which is like under 18s, but it's all quite serious. And so obviously that's what I thought it was going to be. Like, when I first went now, I thought, I've got to be really serious about it. But, you know, these are like 10, 11-year-old kids, and do you know what I mean? That's what I love about it.
just love playing football.
Yeah, that's it.
And you were there for the hamper thing.
Yeah.
As well, so that was like another side of what being in the academy is.
Yeah, well, with COVID, it's kind of put the brakes on a lot of other stuff. I'm a big believer that you know, the stuff off the pitch actually kind of gets them affiliated with the club and gets them kind of invested. Like, coming to watch the games and seeing their favourite players, I think gets them. And for example, that hamper thing was great because, as much as a brilliant cause it was, but it also is like an experience for them. Which, you know, I heard someone talking about, do you remember when we did that Christmas thing? And it, you know, it sounds silly, but like, it gives them memories together. Do you know what I mean? They probably will forget me one day, but they need like that camaraderie, don't they, between them?
Yeah, the off the field.
Yeah. That's it.
So obviously this is sort of about exit strategy.
Yeah.
It didn't work out in terms of playing career in the end, and then you've gone on and, you know, you've got this amazing coaching career ahead of you, hopefully. You said that you've kind of come up with a social media platform for other players who maybe don't get that deal that they're kind of hoping for. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's called Inside the Mind, and it was kind of just, I don't know, I was seeing like articles and kind of horror stories coming out about people who've not had the best experience, you know, and I've had the clubs I've been at have been brilliant with my transition, but, you know, there is some bad memories attached to it, and it's kind of just giving the players that opportunity to really get their story out in the open. It's all anonymous, and then I can almost support them and create a support network. And it's been really good to speak to like sports psychologists and coaches, and I think a lot of people are in agreement that there's a lot fundamentally wrong with the system. But, you know, clubs like this, and I'm not just saying it because I've got the badge on now, I'm being serious, I think a lot of clubs could learn from, you know, I almost lost that self-value because I wasn't a player anymore. and to pick it up again under the same barrier was, you know, it's phenomenal. And I think a lot of clubs can be guilty of kind of just throwing you out the door and kind of crack on. Do you know what I mean? But the investment you've got in it, to the club, to the game, it's kind of, you do need to like grieve it, if that makes sense. And I don't think there is that. I think it's kind of still a bit stigma. Do you know what I mean, around it?
Yeah. So what was that experience like? You know, in terms, like, how did you get from that kind of disappointment of maybe not getting that contract and then going into the coaching? How did that sort of?
I don't think the disappointment necessarily, you can just switch it off. I think you have to replace it. So I think, you know, and I think this with a lot of people, like if you've been a player, you have this like natural passion because it's something you love to do, and it's almost, I was always wanting to do something that I could be passionate about. I wouldn't want to just say, oh, I've not been a player and that's my life done, and I'm just going to accept, you know, being mediocre elsewhere. I wanted to throw myself into whatever I did, and I think, you know, like, for example, I know I've been really lucky with this, but like coaching was perfect for me because of who I am, and do you know what I mean, like my personality, skill set and things. But yeah, I think just replacing it with something else you can be passionate about was really good for me.
And was it important for you personally to stay in football?
It wasn't at first. At first I was kind of, I wanted to go and study banking, and I wanted to get out of it, but that was again when I was kind of in my denial stage and it was all very new, and like I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. But I look back and you're 100% right. Like I've played this game since I could walk, and it's, you know, it's everything. It's the most important thing in my head, and it always has been. So I think it'd be silly to waste, you know, the good and bad experiences that I could potentially like pass on to people.
So for you personally now, what's the next step? You just passed your UEFA license at 20, you know, world's your oyster.
I don't know. I think I'd like to stay here for the foreseeable future. I think because, you know, I feel that hopefully if I do well enough, there might be a career path here. You know, and a progression, and you know, I am passionate about like producing players for the club. But you know, I've been here I think 5 years now, so it's, you know, I do know the club, and it's, for now I'd like to stay here, but eventually I'm going to apply for my A licence in the near future, and then, you know, just kick on from there really.
And hopefully one day when you're under 12s will be.
Yeah, well, that'd be the ideal. I've told them that they need to remember me then. But